7 seconds on the clock. Welcome to Restore Belief with Nikki. I'm Nikki. I am an ET abductee and paranormal experiencer, psychic medium. Been part of the SFP and a number of other things. Oh, which reminds me, I need to fix the chat so that I can actually... all messages, there we go. Double checking some info. Hello to the one who's there. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Okay, now fixing something. And there we go. Okay, now that I know that, that's important. Okay. Got it. Information. Whoops. Don't want to do that. Let's see, what do we got here? Top. I don't want to have top. I want to have... Okay. Whoops. Why is that not working? There we go. Okay. Hello. There we are. Alright, not many going to be on so early in the morning, but I did want to come on. Of course, a lot of people, this is for their middle of the night. For me, it is 4:14 in the morning right now, 2 minutes and 27 seconds into it. And I'm kind of hoping that everybody has a calmer night, or calmer morning, whatever time it is of the morning or day. Hello, Avery. Hi. If you have questions about the paranormal or about ET abductions, things of that nature, as an abductee, lifelong, I will... that is not okay. How is that still up and yet not showing? Interesting. That has got to go away. Interesting. Top. I don't want top messages. I want all. Chat filter. All. Thank you. Okay. Greetings from Russia. Hello, Daniel. You was just greeting. That's good. Welcome from Russia. I am in Washington State in the United States. Anyway, so as an abductee, lifelong ET abductee, seriously, if you have questions, ask. Almost nothing's too outrageous. I've heard quite a few things. Whether it's been in group or whether it's been in other situations. I know you're sticking around to hear some stories. So one of them that got brought up a couple days ago, yesterday and last night, what did they do to me? That's a really good question. Well, they, at a very young age, put me into one of the hybridization programs that they've got. So I am a surrogate mother. That doesn't go real well with a lot of things. And a lot of people think I'm nuts and crazy to be out publicly. You're so calm. Hi, Gloria. Hi, Scott. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Angels. Well, Angels is me. Okay. So, anyway, yeah, I've learned to be calm. It's taken a long time to be calm about this. I'm not hysterical about it. I've had my moments. It's not easy to deal with. It's not an easy subject. Yeah, I've been told that. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Um, I've I used to do a lot of late night podcasts because people were coming off of very large shows. And so I used to get told that my voice was so relaxing that it could help put them to sleep. And, sometimes that's what we need. So that's what I would do for folks. Anyway, so as a long time, lifelong ET abductee, oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Gloria. Uh, Actually, what I want to teach on is about ET abductions because everybody has a different experience, but yet at the same time, many of them are similar. And I want other people who are abductees, because there's thousands, if not millions, and I'm not joking when I say that, it can be very scary and very confusing, and a lot of people have questions about their own abductions, but yet are just making realizations about things. So, that's why I want people to ask questions, because you should be asking questions. I mean, look at what the U.S. government is doing regarding the congressional hearings over the course of the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years, whatever it's been. Look into that. Ask those questions. Ask those questions of your own government. Doesn't matter if it's the U.S. government. Whoever, whatever country you live in, ask questions. Because, number one, it's important. Number two, there's a lot of things that are going to be coming in either by the end of this year or in the coming 3 years. 3 years? Yeah, that's right, 3 years. So look into ufology. Look into it's going to be coming up really hardcore in the next 3 years. Look into what is taking place across the globe. Look at which countries are trying to hide information. Which countries are actually coming out with information. Which countries have come out with information from day one. Which side you share more? Carl Jung or Sigmund Freud? I mean, okay, you're not spelling things quite correctly, but that's okay. You mean psychology. Oh God. Of those two, so basically you're asking if I'm a Jungian or a Freudian. I'm neither. But I get where you're going with that. And thank you for being respectful about it. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's an very rather interesting question in a very interesting way to me. Anyway, as an abductee, and speaking of that, since you're asking that question, there are very, very few people who do counseling who actually deal appropriately with counseling methods for abductees. They're few and far between. If you are an abductee, there's only two that I would refer out to. Two people that I would refer out to. One's very well known. The other one is kind of like privately well known, so to speak. I don't know how else to say that. But anyway, Katrina, hello. Welcome to my podcast this morning, tonight, wherever you're from. Do you have any long-lasting trauma response issues after being abducted? Yes. Depends on who's doing the abducting. So I have been ET abducting. Excuse me, Peter. Hi, how's your day going? It's been a long night. I'm coming off of a 2-hour live broadcast with friends, and it sounds like a life flight helicopter is going, and it is fully loaded. Hello. Those are some hefty. That's a heavy helicopter. Sorry, I know my helicopters when, and I'm in a flight path. How's my day gone? So that's kind of it. I've had a very long day yesterday in through tonight, and I'm still awake, and I figure I better get while the getting's good, so to speak. Anyway, yeah, get some shut-eye, says Peter. Yeah. So Katrina has asked, do you have any long-lasting trauma response issues after being abducted? Yeah, I have had them. I've had physical responses. You have to remember, I was 13 years old when they first forced my body to be pregnant. 14, it was a 5-month pregnancy. 14, when they took the baby. And by the time oh God, I have to do the frickin' math. Hang on a second. That's gonna take me a moment. By the time, let's see, I gotta do the math. Okay. Okay, so I was 24 years old when I had my son. I had to think about that, and I'm like, okay, my brain's not braining. Anyway, there we go. Let's go back into the live. There we are. So I was 24 when I had my son, and what I didn't register was that I didn't understand why I was so terrified. With a scholarship in Russia, that's why I'm there. Hey, Robert. Chill. I hear drones every day here. Oh, sweetie, I'm sorry. It's good to see you, Robert. I hope your trip is doing well. I don't remember what time zone you're in right now, but congratulations. Why are you still awake? Well, my dear, because see, he was supposed to be on the show with me, but he's on an unexpected trip. So we're, that's why he's asking me, why are you still awake? It's more like, why the hell are you still awake? 8:50. Oh, that's right. You got a 30-minute. Okay. Sometime I hear noises in the. Oh, jeez. So, anyway, so when I was 24 and was having my human son, I didn't understand why I was terrified that I was going to have somebody take my baby away. It made no logical sense to me. Yeah, why would it? Pregnant and all of that. Well, come to make the realization all those years later, it was because my babies were literally being ripped out of, not only taken out of me and put into gestational containers, but then at their birth, the mother, me at the time, being re-abducted, you're reunited with your infant for minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most, and then the babies are removed from your arms. That's one version of the hybridization programs. Another version is where the humans are sexually mated with the human appearing ETs that are not necessarily so human. Hunter, wish me luck joining the fire department again. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Robert, for doing that. We are Time Lords. We can go back and forwards by 30 minutes. That's funny. Lex, you should try kava. No, been down that road when I was very young. Oh, thank you. Although it can be good for some folks. Anyway, what about seeing someone that looks like you outside? What about seeing someone that looks like you outside? That's paranormal. Gloria, I would be very careful with that. Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's a mimic. Yep. Be very, very careful about that. So, are you in the Appalachian Mountains? Because mimics are very well known for the Appalachian Mountains, from what I've heard from others. Not personally heard from others, but have heard online. Katrina, interesting. Would you prefer the governments who have an aggressive approach to those ETs then, or are you open to reconciliation? Oh, honey, let me tell you. The ETs that do the hybridization with me, I'm actually okay with it. I wasn't in the beginning. Part of me still isn't because of how they deal with the infants. And the mothers. It's a legalistic factor. They're loving and caring to the kids, and that means a great deal to me as a mom. And they're very informative in many levels. I'm freezing. Oh dear, that's not good. Katrina, no, I wouldn't prefer a government who takes an aggressive approach. And the reason that is because there are good, bad, and indifferent ETs out there. There are ETs who are working with government who I would put in the shitter. Okay? That's what I would do with them. There are ETs that are very loving and kind, and I would want nothing to happen to them. Nothing. There are ETs who don't give a damn about humans. They don't give two shits about us. They don't care about Earth. They don't care about nothing but themselves, and that's it. You know, some folks are like that. That's different people like different things. But would I want aggressive action? No. Because I and some others would like to be intermediaries between, and that's not, in the grand scheme of things, that's not realistic because of what is taking place across numerous different races, species of ET, and how some are working with each other, and how some of them really don't like the governments of this planet. There's a timeline that the governments have been given, that I know. That I remember from the ETs from childhood. Now, supposedly, that timeline is up and coming. Do I remember exactly what it is? I remember it as 2028, 2030, but I wouldn't go off of that. Thank you, Eason. I appreciate that. Katrina, so it's a real spectrum, just like humans and how we treat each other. Yes, exactly. It's very much a spectrum. Gloria, I don't know where you're at and why it's cold where you're at. Um, Robert's in Australia and he's in a different section of Australia, so it's cold where they're at right now. But he's originally from a section of Australia where it's very hot. Um, so, you know, what country are you in? Are you during your winter time? You said, oh, thank you, Joshua. I appreciate that. You subscribed. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you. And I hope that what I talk about is, um, is going to help you along with your journey in whatever way that works, I guess. So Katrina, did you have any other questions? Because you're the one who seems to be asking more of the questions along this. And like I said, I'm open to talking about these because they're lifelong experiences. Many I've talked about over and over and over again until I'm blue in the face, which I can continue doing that, but there are others that I haven't really talked about. Most of it is because I'm still remembering. If you do suspect that you might be ET abducted versus whatever else is going on in this crazy world of ours, just know you're not alone. Know that it's a process to get through. Hell, I didn't even truly believe it as an adult until I woke up mid abduction being returned. When I was in the process of being returned, it was during the fucking pardon me, first F-bomb. I do have a mouth on me, so just be aware of that, and a tendency for a potty mouth. So anyway, but just know you're not alone. When I got abducted and was returned, I do not remember the abduction. I remember being returned. And while I was being returned, it was during winter time. And during my abductions, I learned that they abduct me butt-ass naked. Okay? And being abducted in wintertime, when you're naked, and they have controlled the brain to where they force the body into a sleep type of situation. All life forms. But yeah, it is humans. I'll answer that in just a minute. Well, I want to read the question if just in case. So Katrina's saying, from your experience, do you know if they are only interested in humans or other life forms here on Earth? Okay, as far as I understand it, depends on the race that's doing the abducting. There are little grays. Sorry, my skin's been driving me nuts again, and so during the show last night, I was scratching my face, and I was like, yeah, gotta stop that. And it's starting up again. Well, it's been going on all night. Anyway, my point is that crap, I lost the point. The ET abductions, yeah. So it depends upon the race that's doing the abducting. The I was asked that a couple days ago. Cattle mutilations, as I understand it, are being done by the little grays, the short ones, the 3 and 4 foot tall ones. Hello from Australia. Hello, Superfly guy. How you doing? The Loop Room. Hello. What type of animals can fit in the walls? Because I can hear something in the walls. Yeah, you've got, sounds like paranormal. It also can sound like rodents. Rodents will do that. So will birds. Rodents could be anything from rats to raccoons. I've experienced a lot of different things like that in the 1990s. So those are the kinds of things. That's a different kind of expert. That's a rodent expert. So Katrina, as an owner of several animals, dogs and ferrets and rats, I often find them more perceptive to other presences. Okay. Dogs, cats, I didn't know rats could. Didn't know ferrets could, but it does make sense. Horses I know can. Dogs, cats, horses. I believe goats can, but I could be mistaken with that too. I know that other animals can get, or even cows can get, really freaked out about that kind of stuff. Charlie, can we get a video of you? Oh, no, that's going away. Come on. Thank you. Is it normal to feel cold in the summer? Yeah, actually, it depends on how much heat is going on. In the daytime. Anyway, so when I was being abducted and returned, I was butt-ass naked, morbidly obese woman, butt-ass naked, being brought back through blankets and a sheet, and then into my PJs that I was wearing before. And when they released me, because I had been shaking so much and my teeth were chattering so much, because I was so cold. That's what woke me up. That's what brought me out of made me very conscious. And I realized I couldn't open my eyelids. I'm literally trying to open my eyelids and I'm realizing I can't move, but I can feel hands on me. And all of a sudden, as I'm going down through the blankets, I ended up stretching, because that's what my body needed to do, was I needed to actually stretch. And in the process of stretching, I unexpectedly wrapped my left toes around something really tiny to where they bent like this, and I gripped. So, and I realized that was somebody's shoulder. And when I realized that was somebody's shoulder, I freaked out. And they literally put me through the rest of the, or they literally put me through the blankets, through the sheet, through my clothes, and let go, because they realized that I was starting to wake up. And I had such a grip on what it was that I immediately, and I knew I was the only one here. And I went, okay, that's somebody. They just had me up in the air. I felt myself come through the wall. I felt myself, hello, Gloria. I felt myself come through above a fan. I had a Vornado fan that was very large. It was about big. And it was aimed up at the ceiling because I needed to circulate the air during wintertime there. And I ended up, that was another thing. I was already chilled to the bone, and coming through the wall and then coming over that fan made me more alert. That was really when I started registering I couldn't open my eyes. That was really, by the time they started floating me over the bed, that by that point I was registering I can't move. But why do I feel like I'm in air above my bed? Why do I feel... And then the next thing, my body needed to stretch, and they started to release me. This was not sleep paralysis, Gloria. I literally and gripped on to the shoulder of an ET. And I didn't have anything at the foot of my bed. And so when they released me, I literally sat straight up, flew out of bed. I mean, I raced out of bed and grabbed my phone and started taking pictures. I was like, I can feel that you're still here. I know that you're still here. And I was taking pictures everywhere. And there's not a damn thing in those pictures. Other than my normal bedroom stuff. And I started taking pictures, and then I started finding body marks. Am I going to show those body marks? No. But I'm going to tell you, that's really where it completely hit me as to this is very real. I became very conscious of it, and I was pissed. Excuse me, the next few abductions, I'm literally awake, already in the air. It had, hey Fasted, I'm beloved. Jesus Christ loves you. Amen. Yes, he does, actually. Do you think this process was humane? You mean for them with me? No. But it's how they do things, because it's easier for them to control the human. I get very upset over that. But anyway, Katrina, obviously it was a shocking process, but could they have made the transition easier? Oh, yes. They very much could have. But do they choose to? No. Because this is the fastest, most convenient way of dealing with everything. Robert, are you still around? Are you still in? Are you still there? Anyway. So, yeah, it gets pretty difficult and pretty interesting at the same time regarding dealing with abductions, realizing that you're an ET abductee. There are numerous ways, in my opinion, that they could be going about things. I've woken up, God, what was it, October? I think it was October. October of, I could be mistaken. I'd have to look at the years. It's either 2022 or 2023. And ended up, I was on vacation with my family, and I ended up going to bed that night, but I woke up standing up, completely dressed, in a group of about 15 humans and somewhere between 7 and 9 tall white, 7-foot tall white ETs, and woke up in a forest, and I'm yelling and screaming in my head because I can't control my own body. What woke me up then was the fact that somebody was walking over branches that were breaking on the ground. And that's what I heard. It was loud, and I heard a number of them. So many of them, and I woke up, and I'm literally, I can't move anything but my eyeballs. I'm looking like this, going, oh my God. And that's when I start screaming in my head, because I knew they're also telepathic. And they tried to shut me down. I get told, Nikki, shush. And I'm like, I'm not shushing. They need to be woken up. This is not okay. And I was knocked out. And I didn't remember for a very long time what had happened during that specific abduction. It's difficult to deal with. Perhaps they also have a capitalist, like no, they don't have a profit structure to their society that prioritizes the quick abductions rather than proper process. No. Money, they don't have money. As far as I know, extraterrestrials do not have money. Really smart. Katrina, this is usually what promotes cutting corners in today's society. Yeah, I know somebody else that has that viewpoint as well. Katrina, how do you think they knew your name? Did they research you prior, or glean, or was this gleaned from your mind? Okay. That gets into some very interesting subject matters, Katrina. Specifically with the fact that many people that are abducted, not everybody, but many people that are abducted by ETs, it's genetic based. It's, okay, I appreciate that. Nameless user, I don't believe in this, but I am truly fascinated by the subject. Not here to criticize or anything. Keep it up. Well, I believe that there are some of us ET abductees who do need to talk about this, and it does need to be brought out. I've been shown psychic visions that experiencers will eventually be standing up in front of U.S. Congress in a private skiff and having very open conversations. I've been shown that repeatedly in psychic visions. So, will it happen one day? Because of being shown so many times, yeah, I honestly believe it will happen. But anyway, so those are just two examples of my ET abductions. Another example is in 1975 when I was a little kid, and my mom and I were abducted right off of, she's driving, right off of I-5, Southern Oregon. And I'm only now looking into New Fork, National UFO Reporting Center.org. Peter Davenport created that vast years ago to help people who have sightings of UFOs, true UFOs, things that they literally can't identify for whatever reason. That's one of the things that I need to find out from New Fork, and do research. The problem is I don't know what month it was, but I can tell you what year it was. It was 1975. And if there were any sightings of UFOs, I will not call them UAPs, because in my viewpoint, a UAP is a government-based creation, reverse engineered creation. That's my personal opinion, and that's fine. I'm not going to use that. These are not military human-made craft. These are extraterrestrial real crafts that where the metal, I've seen morphing metal. It is one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. But when you are a little kid at 4 years old and you see a wall in front of you 1 minute, you turn around, you're thinking, God, and because there's a window above that wall, and you're thinking, yeah, exactly. She said, Katrina says UAP equals euphemism. Yeah, I do agree. But anyway, so at 4 years old, I'm looking at this wall. I'm on board an ET ship. I'm looking at this wall of silver, and black, gray, silver. And above it is this very large, large window. Takes up the rest of the wall. Okay? I turn around because I'm ordered to turn around by the ETs and by some of the human adults that were standing there. We were a large group, well, large, small, take your pick. Anyway, we were a group of kids between the ages of 4 and 6 or 7 years old at that time. And we were surrounded by both human adults and who were also abductees, I might add. Okay, keep that in mind. But the humans were there to help control the kids and control the kids if there was fear or freakouts and that kind of thing. Well, I was one of those kids at 4 years old turning back around after looking at that wall, and I had just thought, God, I would love to get up to that window. I hear this, I can't even describe the sound. I've not heard anything remotely like it since. Okay, well, except for being on these ET ships. And I turned back around after hearing that sound, and wouldn't you know, the metal has turned into a row of stairs and then a platform. And I'm like, yeah, here I am, 4 years old, this little girl, blonde-haired little girl, and I'm running up the stairs. I'm thinking, yeah, and screaming, yeah, in my head, but I don't say one word. I'm running up the stairs, I'm onto the platform, and I'm like, yeah, look at that. And I'm seeing space. I'm seeing Earth. Later on, we pass what then I know as the Infinity Galaxy. That is copywritten, so if anybody goes to use that, you're going to be coming at. I'm going to be coming at you because that is a legal thing for me. As a major thing for me. You take that, I'm coming after you. Anyway, so I knew it as the Infinity Galaxy. But what it actually was the Butterfly Nebula. It's what we now call the Butterfly Nebula. And there were different spiral galaxies I got to see. All different colors. The one I remember the most was one with blue, white, and hints of pink in it. The Butterfly Nebula back in 1974. Let's see. 72. Oh my God. Yes, 1972. Jesus, Nikki. Anyway, I knew 74 wasn't right. That's why I do the math. Fucking hell. Anyway, my point is, my point is that when this happened, I was in an oh my God, that's a cool thing type of mentality. It was really intense. The things that I saw, I remembered until I was 10, 11, 12, and then it got shut down and put down into me, and I always thought of it as a dream. It was not a dream. It was very freaking real. I ended up coming, as many people know that have been following me for a while, I ended up, because they've heard this story more than once. I ended up getting ordered to come off the stairs by a human. I ended up getting ordered off the stairs by the ETs. And the smell of the ETs was horrific. Truly mind-bendingly, barf-rady, puke-rady, horrific. Okay? So every time I turn around in that memory, and I cannot do it now because I start getting stomach flips and I start wanting to puke. So we're not going to do that. That would be very bad. And these are not memories that I have retrieved via doing hypnosis. Okay? Do I believe in hypnosis? Yes, if done properly. I'm not going to be doing hypnosis for me personally because I do not want anything to alter what comes up or what, of my memories. Okay, I've missed a few of these. Okay, so Katrina, how did they know your name? Genetics, they already knew my name from birth. For me, it's from birth. There are many people where it's not from birth. So that's how they knew. And yeah, they can know that simply from accessing your own mind. And from any of the tags that they've got. I keep getting the term bag and tag put in my head right now. And it's very obnoxious, spirit guides. But anyway. Know your name. Did they research you prior, or was this clean from your mind? Okay, answered that. From your experiences, do you think they be carbon-based life forms like us, or perhaps silicone? I've asked that. It depends on which race of ET, which species of ET. So in answer to that question, there are some that are copper-based. There are some that are, they've got copper-based blood. There are some that have blood similar to ours. I've seen purple blood. I've seen blue blood. And how do I say what I want to say? Do not ask me how I know what color their blood is. We're not going into that today, and I do not want to be re-traumatized, so we're not going into that. But yeah, I've seen a lot of different ETs with a lot of different types of blood. What base are they? I don't know that. I don't have answers for that kind of thing. And at least, hey, you're asking and I'm giving you an honest answer. I mean, if I knew, I would tell you, but I don't. Are they stable in the human atmosphere, or do they require additional life support? Okay, now that's an interesting question. That's almost a science question in some regards. This is what I know. There are certain ETs that do need the suits. There are other races, species of ET who absolutely do not. They can walk, talk, breathe our atmosphere, have no problems. Then there are ETs who have very serious problems with the lights. So, for example, some of the grays, they have a black covering over their eyes. If they take that off, sometimes their eyes will be blue, sometimes they'll be brown, sometimes they'll be green. And I'm talking, they look like they've got our iris and pupil with a white going around it. There are others where the entire eye is covered in whatever color their eye is. So, some have fingernails, some don't. Some have claws. There's a race of ET called a Laborian. They are a shapeshifter. I've seen them shapeshift. I've seen one shapeshift, and when it shapeshifted in front of me, I lost my ever-loving freaking mind. I was not okay with that. Took me a bit to be okay with that. Then when I found out how old he was, I really lost my ever-loving fucking mind, because the human brain cannot conceive beyond what we already know. So to me, people living to, say, for example, 111, 112, 113, yeah, possible. Beyond that, not so possible. In my human mind, that's what I thought. There are races and species of ET that can live 2,500 years old, 1,500 years old. I've met a 1,500-year-old ET. They're young. In their world, they're young. I still have a hard time even talking about that, because I still have a hard time believing it. But I know it's true. How do I know it's true? Because I've seen them. I've seen other ETs talk about this kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's almost convoluted in some ways, because it's even, as an abductee, with all the information that I know, it is hard to conceive of something that far out. And that's like for us living forever. Can you think about that? I mean, think about that seriously. That's like an eternity to us. Would you want to live 2,500 years old? I don't know if I would, to be quite honest. Think about what that does to the body. But they age differently. That's the other side of this. Okay, so I've gone on. I haven't checked. Are you a conspiracy theorist? It depends on who you talk to, Kevin. Some people say I am, some people don't. Whatever. Katrina, who were the humans? Were they complicit or be? Okay, that's an excellent question, Katrina. The humans, when I was that age at 4 years old, the human ET, these adult human ET, these adult humans who were abducted by ETs that were corralling the kids, they were also being manipulated. Okay? So us kids were free to be us, but the adults were doing what they were told. Very much so. This, to me, is a concern for humanity. But you have to understand, at the same time, we humans are considered infantile and young children in their toddlerhood by these ETs, vast races of these ETs, who are thousands of years older than we are, in their sciences, in the things that they do, the things that they talk about. They talk about in generational societies. They talk about in vast lengths of time. Their time frame is different than our time frame. Every planet, as I understand it, based on what I have been told and what I have personally witnessed, each planet essentially has their own time structure, their own day cycle, night cycle. Like we have our own night. Like right now it is 5:06 a.m. Pacific time. I'm in Washington State. Okay? So it's going to be different on a different planet. But that also means their time structure is different. So remember that. That's something else to think about in all of this. Okay. Our age. Voter babbling to 100%. Okay. RH, we are not talking politics. Gloria, is it possible to beat a black hole? No. Even the ETs can't do it. based on what I remember, and I remember not only in SSP hearing ETs telling humans. I've also heard ETs tell other ETs that they still, in the time frame that they've got, cannot get beyond a black hole. In other words, they get drawn in. And I had this very conversation, Katrina, with a very close friend of mine. Was it Katrina? Did I miss who said that? Oh, I think I missed who it was. Nope, it was Gloria. I'm sorry. So basically, as I understand it, there is no way to, as you said, beat a black hole. The pull is too strong. As I understand it, they do not have the mechanical engineering at their level of sciences to be able to break away from a black hole. There is no power yet that is known to them to escape a black hole, or to get out of one, or to, as you called it, beat one. How many collective hours, days do you think they have had you in captivity for? Captivity? You know, I don't know. That's actually a really good question, and hopefully when I listen back to this and make notes and all that kind of stuff, I haven't done that for the last numerous description boxes. I usually do timestamps, and I haven't done that in a while. I'm still trying to deal with my life, and that is a whole nother subject, and that section is business, and I haven't dealt with business yet. So I have no idea. I'm 57 years old. I've been consistently told by numerous different psychics, some who are friends, some who are strangers to me. They've all told me that I'm abducted while my mom was pregnant with me. My first memory is at age 4 years old on board that ship. My first memory of SSP is when I was 8 years old, with a cattle prod being electrocuted by a man in a military uniform. Different ballgame. So, Katrina, in answer to the question, I do not know. Okay, RH, I'm going to start removing your... I'm not doing political. I told you that, and you continued on. So I'm removing your voter things. Let's just put it that way. Mr. Really? Okay. And now you're starting just to be rude, telling me this person drops acid daily. No, I do freaking not. I don't do shit like that. Can you imagine being... do you think the world is flat as well? Absolutely fucking not. I think flat earthers need to get a real reality check. Especially with what I've seen. Mr. It's funny. I think you mean she is. Anyway, Gloria, it's normal to see green stars for like 4 of... this dude has a lot of free time on his hands. Okay. That goes away. Show us your armpits. Boy, you're getting rude. Hello, Sporting Dog Farms. Who is laughing? That's fine. Okay. Katrina, did they make a mistake in allowing you to remember all these details, or do you think they want some people to share the truth? Oh, excellent question. Oh, hello, Eric. tyrannical timekeeper. She is legit. I got buzz. Sud by reptilians. She is legit. Okay. My boss said I'll get a promotion next week. I'm happy, but also a little bit anxious with the new responsibility. I could understand that. Eric, are you the Eric I know? Because I don't know your current handle on YouTube. Okay, so Katrina, did they make a mistake in allowing you to remember? Okay, this is a question that is actually quite important in ufology, because this is something that's not widely discussed, and it should be widely discussed. Did they make a mistake in allowing you to remember all these details, or do you think they want some people to share the truth? All right. Many times, many of the ETs that do abducting will deliberately force a block onto the memories. Many times they will not. And the many times that they do not, it can feel like a dream. Usually, that's really a very common situation with ET abductees. Is that they can tell something has happened to them, but they can't quite put their finger on what it is. Many times they will think that they've had a weird dream sequence of seeing extraterrestrials, but they can't figure out quite what it was about it that felt real. Well, hello, that's because it was real, and the ETs are real good at freaking controlling the human brain. Certain races, that's the thing, certain races of ET, species of ET, are capable of controlling the human brain. Many other ETs are not capable of doing that. So, something else to think about during an abduction. Which race is abducting me? Is it the tall whites? Or are the tall whites doing the actual physical abduction, but somebody else has got the control? Okay, that's something I found out the hard way. So I've got 7-foot tall, gray reptilian, not reptilian, I do apologize, very different race of ET. 7-foot tall grays. They look like they're grays. They've got the gray body, gray ET body, the hands, the feet. So the long torso, long skinny torso, long skinny arms, fingers, toes, bulbous head, black eyes, almond-shaped solid black eyes. That's because they have contacts in, and when you remove the contacts, you'll actually see their eyes. And the eye covering has some kind of, I can't think of what it's called. It's like it's almost like a computer, but it's not. But it's organic. It's all organic. Anyway, so they're not making the mistake in allowing the person to remember the details. They're creating a situation to where it can make it look like a dreamlike state. And in doing so, the ETs are very freaking good at this. Certain races, species of ET are very, very good at doing this. That is why certain factions of governments on this planet are using those specific races of ET, because when they abduct for them, different ball game. You're dealing with a whole different group of people. I'm not being rude, just asked to see your armpit. Simple question, please don't be offended. Why would you want to see my armpits? That's just yuck. The only important thing is that Hector is running what the hell is that all about? I have not a clue as to what the hell that's all about. The universe is a pretty big space if it's just seems like an awful waste of space. Gloria, what are those humans? Clouds in the skies? Some ET ships can put cloaking devices on. Hey, that happened right in front of my eyes. Human clouds in the sky. What exactly do ETs do after they abduct a human? Quite a lot of different things. Experiment. Yeah, well, no. Actually, it's not experimental. Tyrannical Timekeeper. Now, I know you from somewhere. I've seen you in other chats. I'm just trying to remember where. Let's think about this logically. If ETs have technology to make it to the flat Earth, then wouldn't you think they have the capabilities of either coexisting with us or, better yet, conquering? They're not into conquering. And Earth is not flat. If you're a flat earther, you might want to leave, because I'm going to be talking about a globe, a world, a round ball, which is what Earth is. Earth is not flat. I'm sorry you believe it that way, but Earth is not flat. Actually, there are ETs living on Earth, residing and completely interspersed with us humans, and there are ones that are living underground in different cities. So yeah, that's a whole nother. Nope, we're not doing that political shit. That goes away. Thank you for your time. I'm a skedaddle to feed my birds. Okay, Katrina, it was nice talking with you. Thank you for coming in. I hope you come in again at some other point. Back to their homeland. Wow, aren't you just lovely? Bye-bye. I'm about to be tortured by the Greys. I'm not joking, or on acid. It depends on which Greys. There's more than 15 races and species. The world isn't completely round. It's a little bit oval-shaped due to gravitational you're gonna get technical. Give me a break. So, anyway, oh, hang on a minute. It just dawned on me. Oh, today I think. Okay. The world isn't complete. Okay. When, what? Anyway, so regarding ET abductions, anybody else have questions? Because, hello, there's a lot that can be talked about. Katrina was asking some great questions. I mean, really great questions. Stuff I don't typically get all the time. I usually get a lot of different questions coming through. Yes. Let's see if I can send this to her. There we go. Okay, now that's got to go up. This has got to go there. There we go. All right, now I would like to actually be able to see the chat, please. Come on. Why is this not acting? That's getting wonky. There we go. Okay. Back to top. There we go. Okay. Alright, little bit of business that I had to take care of. Anyhow, so regarding ET abductions, I mean, I talked about a number of them, quite a few in fact. Gloria, what would happen if humans never had a brain? Well, you're not going to have a soul in that body. Clones are a different matter. I mean, now you're talking about the clone factor of things. You know, you've got different... Oh, and I just got told to be careful. You got different situations within... and hello, I can feel your energy. Ah, that's interesting. Anyway, so there are clones. They're not made by... hello, hon. I felt you before you. How you doing, Chloe? It's good to see you, dear. I think it's, by the way, I think it's today. 4 p.m. Pacific time, I think. If I remember, I'll send you it's something off of Facebook, off of a specific person's page. So I'll get you the information. I'm hoping I remember it at the end. Hopefully somebody remind me. Anyway, so clones are not usually made by the ETs, regular ETs. No idea. Probably went to work. Don't know. Response to Gloria. What happened to RH? Don't know. Not taken out by me. Anyway, so clones get made, and they're used in very specific... Human clones get made. Cloning... I've had this conversation in chat on a number of people's channels that, as far as I know, clones have been made for more than 30 years. Or for 30. It's either for 30 years or more than 30 years. Anyway, let's see, my son is 33. No, about 35 years. And so, as I understand it, because I got, I had a military officer standing in front of me who retired now as an admiral. That's a whole other subject that will really piss me off. And he was yelling. I was a SSP pilot, excuse me. And he was standing in front of me and my team, yelling and screaming at me, that far from my face, yelling and screaming that it was costing the U.S. government $380 million per one clone, human clone. That's from the time they are made. Hello, Susan Garcia. Nice to see you back. That the clones are made. They do not need a female to incubate or to do the gestational. It's all done well beyond our human sciences, but they are made. I've seen them. I got told a little bit ago to be careful how I word this because This is supposed to be viewed by certain individuals that are supposed to take it to heart, I guess, from what I got told. Anyway, so I got to be careful how far into this I go. Yes. Oh my God, yes. Hello, RH. RH is saying, do ET's feet stink? Yes, they do. Depends on the race of ET. Holy God in hell. No, nasty. Nasty. Um, and some are very nice. Besides the smell of their feet or their bodies, some ETs are very, very nice and very loving and very caring. I've been around some ETs that are just awful. Absolutely awful. And then I've been around some ETs that are just fighting for their survival. The spiders do. RH, do the black ETs have large extremities? The 12 to 15 foot tall spider ETs, yeah, they're black and red. I don't hang out with these ETs. I am abducted. I am an abductee, lifelong ET abductee. According to what I've been told from birth, from what I remember, 4 years old on, ET abductee, long time. So, where do I exactly meet and hang out with these ET? On board their ship. They're the ones who come in and abduct me. Oh, wow. Well, I'm supposed to be taking care of... Oh, God. Okay. Sorry. Message from the other side. I'm also a psychic and a medium and blah, blah, blah. Anyway. Yes, actually I have. And I'm just fine, thank you very much, RH. So RH has said, have you ever had a mental evaluation? Yeah, I have. And I'm just fine, thank you very much. So, anyhow, this subject is real. I don't care if you don't agree with it. I don't give two shits what you think of me. I am here explaining and telling about my experiences and what has happened to me as an ET abductee, and am talking... Sorry, I've had a back problem, and sitting is becoming an issue at the moment. Anyway, so... yeah, I can understand that. Thank you, Susan. I get it. I mean, I've had people come in and tell me flat out they believe that I'm schizophrenic, that they think I'm fucked up, that I had one guy go, I'm a counselor. You need professional help. Yeah, okay, I can understand that for my complex PTSD from all the abductions. But there are very few and very far between counselors who deal and work with real ET abductees. And that needs to change, actually, because that's one of the things that I believe in fighting for. And I'm not supposed to talk like that either. Okay, so, anyhow, yeah. So, at some point in time, we need to come together as abductees and take a stand. And other abductees need to know that they are not alone. That is my biggest thing, is you need to know that you're not alone. I felt very alone when I started making some realizations. I felt very alone in this, and quite honestly, I thank God for certain individuals that I came across. One of them, and I'm going to say this, and I hope he's not embarrassed, but Lee Strauss of Spaced Out Radio. He was part of the UFOI team, and I was part of the UFOI team, and I had some. I was like, I'm freaking out, and he had always said if there was an issue, give him a call, and I called him, or I texted him, and he said, hang on, give me about a half hour after I get off work, and then call me, or I'll call you. I can't remember if he said I'll call you or you call me. Anyway, we got in contact like 5 minutes after he was off work, and I was freaking out over something that had happened the night before, because it was an ET abduction and I didn't understand very specific factors of it. And he got me through. Gave me some really great advice, and it helped. Then I had another situation to where we're doing a night watch, and Lee was doing the photography, the videography, and the photography of the night watch and of the skies. And all of a sudden, I turn in one direction, and there's a little bit more to the story, but essentially I turn in one direction, and I got a shock wave of very intense, very difficult to handle. I wanted to barf immediately. It was a very specific bad feeling. And the first words out of my mouth were, oh my God, the bad ETs are over there. And I literally, that's when I tested my body, and I went, okay, we're going to turn this way. No. Turned here. Well, I got a psychic hit off of over here. Over here, the psychic hit was that there's an underwater ET and combined U.S. military base. That pissed me off. Moved over here, and it was, oh my God, that's the bad ETs. I moved over here, there's nothing. And all in front of me was out in water. And I turned around and I walked up. I tested it a couple of different times because I was like, this can't be real. This can't fucking be real. And I turn around and I walk up to Lee, and I ask him, is blah, blah, blah what it's like for blah, blah, blah? And I'm not saying the conversation between us, because that's, I'm just not right now. And he said, yeah, that's what it feels like to me. And it got really, I'm not an NPR listener, although I was back in the 1990s and early 2000s, but I haven't been for a very long time. Be nice, be respectful, or I will remove you folks. Be nice and respectful in my chat, people. No, that's getting removed. I will not put up with bullying. Yes. Okay, here we go. Why do aliens seem to communicate with NPR listeners? That's interesting. That's why I made Hello Choco Bo Pixel. No, I'm talking to both of you. Play nice, or you will both be removed. There's also a lot of uneducated individuals. Yes, I agree with Jello. Jello donut. What an interesting, what an interesting thing. Used to have an alien in her waterbed, she claimed. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, getting rid of that. That's some funniest. Okay. Anyhow, trying to figure out anything else. There's quite a lot of information. The public needs to start asking, and they need to start asking logical questions. And there's a lot of us abductees. We need to come together. And I think that quite honestly, that is what the government was one of many things that the government is afraid of, is abductees, real long haulers who are abductees, who've gone through the experiences, who can talk about the different races of ETs that are out there, that are going on, the information that we have been told by the ETs, or those of us who are part of SSP. There's information that we've got that could, quite bluntly, that could take multiple governments down because of this. But would it actually take them down? Probably not, because there's too many money honey people who are feeding off of it. So, hello, Bobby Vans. No, I have not. RH is asking, have you ever had intercourse with an ET? No, I have not. Know people who have. They're part of, like I talked about earlier, there's different sections of hybridization programs. That's one of them. I'm not in that hybridization program. I'm in a different one where they impregnate, remove the infants in a gestational container. The infant is birthed, the mother is returned, and the ETs allow anywhere from 5 to 8-10 minutes with the infant. Then the infant is removed from the mother's arms, and that's the last time you see your infant, because the next time you see your infant, they're going to be an adult, and that could be anywhere from 3 to 6 months in adult form after the time that they're birthed, or you may not see them again until they're a few years old. So, and I'm not joking when I say 3 to 5 months or 3 to 6 months from the time they're birthed, they're an adult. I've seen my children, my hybrid children, where they were born, and in a month's time they looked like a full-grown adult. That's pretty mind-bending and pretty shocking, to say the very least. Majority of the population won't ask questions, and people are too lazy to join together and create a larger mass to bring truths. We are toast as people. AI revolution is coming. Chocobo Pixel, she used to do smoke with the waterbed all day and listen to NPR. We called her Jabba the Hutt. Oh dear God. Do you think politicians, I don't have to. No. That's really rude, RH. No wonder why people are looking so weird these days. Yeah. No. My biological dad? No, he was human. No. Okay, that's just, no. What about human men inseminating female ET? You know, that's actually a pretty decent question. It doesn't sound like it, but it actually, I wouldn't know. I've heard stories, but they're not, I don't personally know. I suppose that could be. I suppose it could happen that way. I'm back from the birds. What did I miss? Oh, some interesting stuff. Okay. When was my first video? Oh God. 20 June of 2021. I think. It's either June or July of 2021. Anyway, it wasn't until the last. Oh, run my freaking deadly. Last video I did that I realized that I was in my 4th year. I was like, oh, holy shit. I didn't even realize that. Anyway, sometimes the truth hurts in reference to people looking really weird these days. Yeah. People are strange. I think of the old song, People Are Strange, The Doors, rather an interesting group, to say the least. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Copy. Move that, move this. Anyway, no, he's got the birds back. That's awesome. Trying to think of anything else. Anybody else have any other questions? Questions have been good this morning. They're not out of line. They're well within, I was going to say tolerance. Tolerance is not the right word. But they're well within questions that a lot of people would be asking, and I appreciate that. Don't appreciate seeing some of the bullying or certain other things, but hey. It's hard to deny that people in today's society, a lot of them do not look normal. No, and so there are things going on this planet that are kind of difficult for a lot of folks to handle, and a lot of folks have a hard time with it. So I finally figured it out. Humans are morphing due to interbreeding with ETs. No, they're not. Although I found out from somebody they are now a former MUFON director, that humans who are ET pregnant and give birth on Earth are called hybrids, which I find really rather interesting. I truly, honestly find that fascinating. Most people have a hard time accepting that the Earth is flat. I do not believe the Earth is flat. I'll have an unusual conference, ET abducted. If not, you should. Those are called ufology conferences. Or they're called paracons. Para capital CON. Could these hybrid human aliens pass as full human? Yes. Great question, Katrina. Yes, they can. Matter of fact, there's a lot of parents who are posting images of their very young infants, and I look at those infants going, holy shit, that looks like a hybrid. In other words, mom has had the splicing and dicing of her genetic material, of her partner's genetic material with NET. And I'm like, holy crap. So, quite honestly, nothing would surprise me anymore with what I've been witnessing. No, not that I know of. RH, are the alien kids circumcised? Not that I'm aware of. I don't know for sure, but I don't believe they are. That is my estimation, my guesstimation. It is not something I know for sure. But I wouldn't imagine they are. No. I'm not going to read that one out loud, RH. The same views as you. Absolutely not. Doesn't like. What features do you look for in a child who is part alien? Large eyes. Okay, now this is going to bring up some issues for some people, but I'm going to show you an AI image that I had created for me. Let's see if I can still find it in here. I've done so much. Okay. Here you go. This is an AI. Oh, fuck balls. Tried that again. Okay. That is an AI image that I had created that is as close to one of my hybrid children. Okay? Looks like a human kid, right? Yeah. Well, that's one of them. Here's another one. This is an AI created. It's as close as I could get to one of my girls. That looks like one of my boys. She looks like one of my girls. And yes, her skin is green. She also resembles one of my girls. Okay? So does this one. So does this one. Brown hair, blue eyes, green skin. This is. This is an AI image as close as I could get it. It's Meta AI. And little boy's hair is kind of a blonde, sandy blonde. Big blue eyes, but the eyes are bigger. The eyes are much bigger. The difference with my kids and the hybrids, some of the different hybrids, because I do have ET grays that are hybrid. This is the closest this is as close as I could get one of them. One of my girls that's a gray. Yeah, she has black hair. Looks very similar to that. So, that is the 1975 abduction. That is as close as I'm going to get. It's an AI representation. I have seen a ship look like that. I've been on board a ship just like that. It's as close as it's going to get for AI that I can get it to make for me. When I'm talking about gestation, oh God, I don't know if I can get it. When I'm talking about gestational containers, oh shit. Yeah. It's, fuck balls, I can't get it. Oh, have to see if I can get it through a different method. YouTube. Nope, that's it. Okay. Anyway, apparently I'm not going to be able to get the rest of the images that I'm looking for, which really suck. Ooh. Yeah, hang on. Go to the very bottom. Yeah, hang on a second, folks. Thank you for bearing with me. Where the hell are you? There's the boys, there's the girls. This is what the fuck are the gestational containers? That's right. There we go. Gestational container, that's as best as I'm gonna get for AI. There we go. Anyway, kind of a interesting thing, so to speak. But that gives you some ideas. I have no idea. I do not remember. So that was in response to our age. Do sub-alien men have larger penises than 100% human? Don't honestly know. Many races of ET do not have the same kind of phalanx type of things going on. So, let's see. What features do you look for in a child who is part alien? Giant eyes. Really, really big eyes. Large forehead. Tiny, tiny nose. Really super skinny lips. Very tight, skinny jawline. There's a very specific there are very specific facial features that I look for. Katrina, do the children have any non-physical traits like difficulties with Earth atmosphere or telepathy? Okay, this is a great question, Katrina. Every hybrid child I have ever had is telepathic. They come into, how do you say this? When they choose the mother, when they choose their mother, the soul comes in and implants itself into that body. There's no other way to say it. Incarnate is another way to say it, but it doesn't really get to the meat of the bones of this situation. When that soul goes into that infant body, they all have abilities. They're all telepathic. They all have the ability to shapeshift. They all have the ability, or not shapeshift. That's not the word I meant. Words. Crap. Now I can't think of the phrase. Oh, my back. But they all have very specific phase shift. That's the word I was the phrase I was looking for. They all have the ability to phase shift. They all have very specific things about them that they can do. Each one is different, but every single one of mine have been telepathic. Only I didn't recognize or understand that really until a number of years ago. Things now make a lot more sense to me. So, non-physical traits like difficulty with Earth's atmosphere. No. Okay, so here's something that I don't talk about very often. And I only found this out because of one of my hybrid boys, who was still very much attached to mom, which is very sweet, because not all the hybrid kids are. Just an FYI. Anyway, they're not all attached to mom, but moms can telepathically reach out to their kids, their hybrid kids. And if you're lucky, you'll get a response back. If you're very, very lucky, you'll remain in communication. Anyway, trying to answer this question, and I'm having a hell of a time doing it. I'm having a hell of a time doing it because it's bringing up other memories, and I'm getting sidetracked with those other memories and having a hard time in differentiating between I want to speak about this, but I'm having this memory, and I want to talk about this memory. That's what I say to that. I'm like, no, I want to talk about this. So I'm getting lost in my own head in translation, so to speak. Do the children have any non-physical traits? So I have seen hybrid children that have been physically disabled. I have seen and they take very good care of these children. I kid you not. So if there is something wrong genetically, medically with those children, they will have a nursemaid for their entire life. For as long as that child lives, they do not. Here's the thing about certain races of ET. If it's not perfect, they will get rid of it. There are other races of ET who will never do that because they treasure life. They treasure life to a very specific degree. And that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. So just keep that in mind too. Oh my God, needed that. Probably didn't look the greatest, but anyway. Have you ever seen the movie that has the blue people in it? Is it your favorite? It's not a favorite movie. Is it a movie I love? Yes, it is. You're talking Avatar. Do I know if that movie is based on certain races of ET? I don't know that, but I would highly suspect it is. I can honestly say I've never come across a race of blue ET with very, very long tails. I have, however, come across a race of ET that are feline-oriented with very large tails when they are in their normal form. They can shapeshift into human form. But the difference is that these ETs, they're 8 feet tall. So, honey, you're going to be seeing an 8-foot tall, very large male or female, and they can shapeshift into felines. Yeah. Now, mind you, I've only seen one ET ever do that. But it's a real freak out when you witness it, to say the very least. Okay, so moving on. There is no human in that picture. RH. That's BS. Gloria, is it possible for a 0-year-old to open their eyes? 0? What the hell? 0-month old? Interesting. Have Katrina, have you only seen the ETs in their abduction work setting, or have you witnessed them relaxing, enjoying entertainment, sports, etc.? To my to my knowledge, there's not a lot of sports. I've seen them in the abduction scenario. I've seen them in a relaxed setting. But now we're talking SSP. We're not talking regular abductions. And we're not talking regular ETs. There's a group of ETs inside of Mars because Mars has its own city underground. That's interesting. The one and only Nicole. Hello, Nicole. I'm Nikki. Nice to meet you. Are anal probes a thing? No, they're not. They can be, but it's not normal. If that is happening, there's something else going on medically. And that person, I was just about to say is a test dummy, but that's not true. That person is having medical issues and is having certain things taken care of. Katrina, why do you think humans are so much less capable than these ETs? Are we just not as far down the evolution? Are we just not as far down the evolutionary track? Okay, science-wise, please remember, ETs are far. There are a number of races of ET that are far, far advanced than we are. Medically speaking, the advancements are astronomical. They can splice and dice genes together for what they want and don't want in a race of being that they are creating. There's a lot to that. Truly, there really are. Okay. Just trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay, why do you think humans are so much less capable than these ETs? Because we are not using the advancements that the governments refuse to release that they've got. We would be following, we would be doing things if the governments of this planet actually released the technology. But because it's making them bank, it's making a major profit, why are they going to want to choose to do that? That's why. Which really rather sucks. Because on this planet, the almighty dollar, yen, ruble, whatever the monetary value is, that's what it comes down to. And in the ET worlds, as far as I understand and remember, there is nothing monetary. It's not done that way. So on this planet, we are screwing our own selves over in many regards Katrina, have you encountered any other lower life forms from other planets like us humans? They are also abducting on the ships. Yes, actually I have, and I don't know why I say that. So obviously there's a memory in me. Encountered any other lower life forms from other planets? Yeah, they're studying. I'm being shown animals right now in my head. I'm literally seeing a wide range of animals, and I don't even know how to describe what I'm seeing. So that was I was being psychically shown. I don't have any memory, but apparently for me to say yes to something of that nature, that means that's a memory that's going to be coming up soon. Isn't that going to be fun? I wonder what that's going to be like. I don't even want to know. Sorry. When you go through memories, it gets really interesting. So much less capable. Are we not just as far down the evolutionary track? We're not even remotely close to where we need to be, Katrina. The thing is that extraterrestrials, many different races of extraterrestrials, according to what I have been told personally by them, by many different races, we need to be working on our consciousness, our higher consciousness, and we need to be raising the bar much higher. And what has been happening, governments are trying to deliberately rescind that and stop that from happening, because the more higher consciousness that we've got, the better off we are, but the worse off the governments are, and that's a big problem to the governments. Hello, Xena is plain, and it has a protective dome with water above and below. It is not a planet. I completely disagree with you, Xena, because I've seen Earth. I've been off-world on a number of occasions. I'm an ET abductee from birth. I remember my first memory of ET abductions is age 4 years old, being on board a ship. I've seen Earth from that ship. It is round, my dear. Katrina, do you think the more you talk about this and do these lives, you will unlock further information? You mean from my memories? No. Sometimes things pop up. Sometimes certain people pop into my live broadcast, say something that, because they're an ET abductee, or they personally know me, and they ask a very logical question, and sometimes that question will trigger my memories. And that I appreciate, because that's a betterment to me. But at the same time, if it can help somebody else who is struggling with this, it took me years to really, it took me a very long time to not only publicly come out as a psychic medium, but to then a year later come out as an ET abductee and publicly state that, to the horror of my family. They didn't want to know about it. And I get that. I understand that. But these are my experiences, and it's all coming out now. It's all, I'm having, I came across somebody not very long ago who I was like, I know your voice. I know your voice. Who the hell are you? Where do I know you from? We've never met before. Why do I know your voice? And they said something about how they could feel that they knew me, but they couldn't place. They knew me, but they couldn't place where. And I just popped out and came back on again. So that was interesting. So if anybody has problems, let me know. Anyway, and they said something and it triggered a memory. And that memory being triggered a shit ton of other memories. And I lost it because I was like, oh my God, I know who you are now. And they said, yeah, I remember you too. And we started talking about different experiences that we had together. Yeah, I can't call it as an ET abductee, but that's essentially what we were. And I've come across one of the adults when I was 4 years old. He turned into somebody that I thought I could respect, and come to find out, he stabbed me in the back, and he had changed. But then I made the realization. One of the realizations was that he was being controlled. He was an abductee too, as an adult, but he was being controlled to work with the kids. And did I forgive some of the behavior? Yeah, but at the same time, I didn't. It broke my heart because he had completely changed into a completely different person. He went from this nice, very loving individual who wanted the betterment for a lot of people into everything had to do with fame. And I wasn't okay with that. Everything, absolutely everything had to do with fame and what they could get out of anything. And I was like, that's not, no, that's not me. That's not who I knew you as when I was 4 years old. Come to find out, I knew him for a lot of years, being abducted. Do I remember all of it? No, but I have different memories of different ages, and I'm like, no. They're just some things I will not allow myself to go into certain memories over because it's too upsetting, and it pisses me off because this person, yeah, I knew them for a number of years, and yeah, it was as a kid, and they were 22, 21, 22, 23, 24, somewhere in that age bracket, being abducted and in charge of a group of kids, one of many humans being in charge of a group of kids, and somehow I knew him on Earth, not in abduction land, and he was very different. He was very nice, but very different. But as an adult who had changed over the course of 50 years, by the time I met him, he turned into a real asshole. And everybody else loved him. Go figure. No. So, yeah, I mean, you can come across people. I've come across a number of other people that I've seen and known on board ship, but I don't talk about them very often. Very, very rare that I talk about them. Katrina, what pop culture properties about ETs and aliens, e.g. Star Wars? Oh my God, how many movies do you want me to count? Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, look at Star Wars, look at Star Trek, look at, yeah, you're right, both movies called The Arrival, both Independence Days. Do you resonate with as having incorporated real ET information? Okay, Katrina, here's the thing. Hollywood has done the slow drip factor from the very beginning. TV shows. Look at children's 1970s Scooby-Doo. You got slow drip factor even in a child's animation, 1970s animation. You've got slow drip factor way before that. You've got drip factor from children through teens, through certain age brackets in the adults. There's so many movies over the course of time. Hell, even Cowboys versus Aliens that's part of that's a real story. You go back into the 1800s, there's a couple of stories that deal with UFOs being seen overhead that are talked about in newspaper articles and clippings. There's, oh God, you opened up a whole can of worms on that one, dear. You're looking at so many different kinds of ETs. And God, I can't even think of all the different ones. Jupiter, what is it called? Jupiter Ascending. Go look at that movie. Holy crap, there's quite a few real ETs. Not real, but I mean made to look like. The reptilian with the alligator nose and the tail. Hello, Draco reptilians. You're talking the dip in the pool coming out. That's real. I don't know where the hell they're getting their information, but they're getting it from real life. Some of that, I mean, the ETs on Battleship, the movie Battleship. Shit, I've seen some of that. Are you kidding me? Three-fingered, very specific, where they can. I've seen that shit. The whiskers where they spring. Seen that kind of stuff, but it wasn't whiskers. It was something else. The eyes being super sensitive. That's like a known fact in ufology. I mean, that's nothing new. There's a bunch of that kind of stuff. Holy crap. There's so many of them. The Vulcans. Okay, you look at in Star Trek, the characters, the Vulcans. The Vulcans are very much like what I call the tall whites. They're very legalistic. Some of the Lyrans, no, that's not what I meant. Laborians. No, that's still not what I meant. Shit. I can't think of the race of ET right now. There's a certain race of ET. One of them, I call the tall white Arcturians. Thank you. Some of the Arcturians I've met, and there are many different kinds of Arcturians, I might add. Help to buy a gift card. Let's see how good you. No, we're not going. No. Anyway, so there are so many different races and groups of ET, subfactions, species after species, gone down the line. I mean, there's so many different things. So these movies, Hollywood has gone in and they've gotten their information from very specifics, which leads me into ask a bunch of questions. No, I'm not doing psychic medium stuff right now. And whatever the hell that's all about. Not a lizard man, honest. Oh, good. I was wondering which breed of crazy I was going to have with my coffee with. whatever. Give you me PayPal? What the hell? Dude, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I don't even care what you're talking about. I'm not here doing psychic medium stuff. Right now. I'm not. Anyway, so hello, Xena. So that was Christina. That was a really good question. Pop culture kind of thing. I appreciate that immensely. You know, questions are really important, and they help move things along, so to speak. But yeah, regarding movies, Jupiter Ascending is really one that I would look into. Even some of the newer Star Wars movies. Holy crap! I haven't seen anything beyond when Darth Vader, before he became Darth Vader. But anyway, yeah, look into some of the movies. I mean, Hollywood's been doing the slow drip factor for a very long freaking time. Yeah, that man is kind. Yeah, so no, I. No, ETs are not demons. Demons are a completely different ballgame. Ones in which I would rather deal with ETs than deal with demons. Demons are real out. Not all demons are assholes, but a majority of demons are real assholes. Didn't like Eddie. You didn't like Eddie. Remained performance in Jupiter Ascending. Okay, you mean the actor? I don't know which actor you're referring to, but okay. But enjoyed the rest of the movie. That's good. Yeah, Jupiter Ascending, I was really appalled by how many things they got right. It actually kind of freaked me out a bit. Especially the thing of humans being eaten. That's a real issue. Certain ETs will do that. There's not a lot of them. Oh, Eddie Redmayne. Why do I know that name? Which one was he? Yeah, I knew who you were talking about. Oh, I don't remember him right now. Is he the one that did the Eddie? Oh, yeah, that's because he played a bad guy. I like him as an actor. I really like him as an actor, actually. He does some of my favorites. Anyway, but I understand some people didn't like that. I love that. That was a great. He played a really great bad guy. I don't. No, don't worry about it, hon. Your apologies autocorrect. I totally get autocorrect. It's a pain in the ass sometimes. Yeah, I thoroughly love that movie. But was absolutely appalled by a lot of the very some of the groups of ET that I knew, and I was like, holy shitballs, and that's real, and oh my god. The boots, I would love a pair of those boots. But of course they're not real, and I've never seen anything like them, so hello Gloria. So yeah. And the wings, I've seen angel wings before, but not on an ET. Although I do have to say, I have seen, now I would never call this a blue alien or a blue avian. I do know, because I have seen from a distance, very far distance, but I have seen it, an ET with feathers. The feathers were really tight knit up against like the skin. But really far from a distance, and I even wondered if it was something, I was like, does that person have feathers? And because I thought it, instead of verbalizing it, I got told by an ET, yes, you're seeing that correctly. And I was like, okay. So, Zena, actually, yeah, okay, bye, Gloria. Okay, so Zena is asking, do ETs recognize the Almighty God Creator, Yahshua, excuse me, and the Holy Spirit? Okay, this is what I know about certain races of ET. There are a number of types of ET that believe in a source. Yes, I do. Do I believe in God? Yes, I do. And we call that person God. Many religions have their own word for that. Hello, dogs. 2x, 2 times. The only way is Jesus Christ. So, is what dogs just said. So there are numerous races of ET who do believe in a God, in an all-encompassing source that creates. And that is why some of them will act, and they do believe in Jesus. And that is why when certain people who are in the process of being ET abducted, when they call out Jesus Christ or the name of Jesus, or out to God, they will stop the abduction. There's a specific thing for that. So there's a reason. Not all of them believe that way, but many of them do. Okay. Now I'm starting to finally come down. I was wondering when I was going to come down from the show. And then I was able to get a chance to talk to friends for a couple of hours after the show. So, okay. Dogs. All fallen angels, remains, ETs, etc. all believe in Jesus Christ because he created everything, even the demons believe. All fallen angels, remains. What do you mean, remains? ETs, etc. all believe in Jesus Christ. No, not all ETs believe in Jesus Christ, okay? They know of him. They believe in him. There are those races that believe in an all-encompassing source. Hello, Matt and Marcy Henson. Hello, welcome to my channel, and we're talking ETs and paranormal. Yes, actually I did already. Do you know that for sure? Because I do. Dogs. Dog says they absolutely do. Actually, the ones that I know of, no, they don't. So there are ones that do and ones that do not. And I know that from personal experience because I've had conversations. So yeah. What is your name? Leah Poison? Benevolent. It's in French. Okay, thank you. I saw a daemon. What do you mean a daemon? In my dream, and he froze me in place. I don't know how, and kept looking at me. Is it real? Please help. Could be. It could also be just a dream. Means nice fish. Oh, it's in French. No, it means nice fish. Okay. Aliens or dogs. Aliens or ETs are all just fallen angels from the beginning. Old demons, new days. You're being deceived. Oh, wouldn't that be just lovely? But that's not the situation or the case, dogs. Aliens or ETs, they're not fallen angels and they're not demons. I know fallen angels. I know archangels. I know Jesus. Know God. Have had conversations, crossed spirits over to God, in fact. Have you called out Jesus' name? The one regarding French. How can I tell? I feel so weird. Well, call out Jesus' name. Call out God. See what happens. Anyway, I'm not being deceived. I know what is what, and that's your prerogative. You have the right to feel and believe what you believe. I know from personal experience that what you're talking about is not accurate. And I know that, like I said, from personal experience. If you had seen what I have seen, if you had witnessed what I've witnessed, if you had experienced the physical of what I have experienced in the physical regarding these ETs, these are not demons. But you have the right to choose what you view and how you view things, and I get that. We're in complete disagreement. And we're at least both being respectful so far about it. That's called divination, which is forbidden realms. Yeah, biblically. Ouch. Xena, how does the Almighty God Creator look like? I've never. Oh, sorry. My back is really bad right now. Look like the brightest white light I've ever. Well, okay. Yeah, actually, it is. It's brighter than when the ETs abduct me. Yeah. Brightest white light filled with love. The most purest form of love I've ever experienced in my life. So pure that it's overwhelming, largely encompassing every aspect of oneself. Good question, Xena. Dogs, I pray you receive the Holy Spirit. Thank you. You're playing in this evil realm. No offense. Out of love, I say this. Yeah, you're fine. You're being respectful about it. I appreciate that. We're in complete disagreement, but that's okay. And it's all right to have that viewpoint. That's, like I said, that's your prerogative. You and I have very different viewpoints, and that's okay. So, I've been going on 2 hours and 24 minutes. I'm going to shut it down here in a few minutes. Okay. I needed that. It's got my lime juice in it, amongst other things. Anyhow, anybody else have questions that they may have about ET abductions? Before I go? It's so interesting, says Zena. Yeah, it can be. Michelle Davis, bass guitar, Jesus never existed? Then why in my past lifetime did I see him on a cross? Look, I don't have all the answers. I just know what I've experienced, and what I've had in my past life experiences. Explain to me then why I knew him. Explain to me also why I saw him on the cross in that lifetime. I can't prove it. Unfortunately, I cannot prove it. But you also have the right to believe and choose to believe whatever you believe. And I have the right to not tell you who I was in that lifetime. Adios. Okay, Michelle, so it's not evidence, nothing to explain. Well, if you do not understand or conceive of the notion of past lives and past life experiences, then yeah, there's nothing for you to see here. Time to move along. Zena, what is the real reason why ETs abduct people? There's too many reasons. The long and the short of it depends on which race of ET it is. You're back. Hello, Gloria. Gee, would you like me to have me show my tit and what, how's graphic? The marks that have been left on my body. Marks that didn't come from me. Go back through my, why am I getting so pissy? I don't know. Anyway, go back through my live, through all of my live broadcasts, and in the description box, you will find exactly what I'm going to be telling you about. Like on Tuesday, I said, go back into my live broadcasts, look for when I'm showing this. There's what I call an ET tramp stamp on my arm, or on my, just below my thumb. That is no longer frickin' there. Goddamn thing disappeared. Pissed me off. Then explain to me why I've got skin samples, where skin samples have been removed from me. One right here that now looks like almost like a square freckle. Can you still see? Yeah, you can barely see that. I've shown that so many times it's not even funny. I've got marks on me. I have a friend. I have a dear friend who's got surgery marks that he couldn't figure out where the hell they came from. He has never had knee or leg surgery. Explain how those surgical deep marks with puncture marks going down the sides as if they'd been stapled together. And he was at home. Explain how that is happening. He was at home. We're talking surgery marks that are this fucking long. You want evidence? That's evidence. You want evidence? Go search out for the records of people who have talked publicly where their medical devices, the ET medical devices, have been removed from them. We're talking little things, things that are about yay big, things that are about also yay big. So yeah, there is documentation, there is proof, that is evidence. Whether you choose to believe it's evidence or not, it's physical hardcore evidence. What about women who are going to the doctor, finding out, shocked that they are pregnant, and 4 months later, the pregnancy is no longer there. The baby was never aborted. The baby was not removed by her or by human medical practices of any kind. But yet, an ultrasound done, and now there's medical evidence that the infant is no longer there. How about why somebody's arm hurts and they have never had surgery on their arm before, and yet they've got breaks in bones that look like they've had things happen? That's evidence. That's medical, scientific evidence. Okay? There's plenty of evidence to go around. So that really gets to me about where's the evidence. That is evidence. All of that is evidence. One of the reasons why I didn't do a pregnancy test back in November, December, January is because I didn't want my infant removed by human doctors. Because I didn't want that pregnancy removed, or me to be taken by a frickin' military tribunal coming in to get me because I've publicly stated I'm ET pregnant. Or being targeted by the government while you're pregnant. Oh, isn't that one fun? That's evidence. That's evidence on my body. Now, if I could definitively show that I've had radiation exposure, oh, you better fucking believe I would do that in a heartbeat. That would be evidence, too. How old is baby now? Well, let's see. Technically 4 months old. Baby's no longer a baby. Baby is a full-grown adult because he's a hybrid human ET. No, I had to think about it. Because they took him in January from him, which means he was 3 months gestational, or 2.5 months. Anyway, 3 months gestational in a gestational container. And then he's birthed. I'm allowed to see him, although they wouldn't allow me to remember it this time, which just pissed me off no fucking end. And end up with, as fast as his specific species grows, yeah, he's going to be a full-grown adult by the time he was 3 months old. Technically 3 months old, yeah. Yeah, hello, Dominion known. Cool, yeah, I've seen a UFO since young. A year ago, a huge one, and it was so low, almost touching the roof of the house. Yeah. I've seen things like that. 2019, a group of us were up at Mount Baker, and one evening There was an ET ship overhead. Very large rectangular ship, black. And it cloaked itself right in front of me. Pissed me off royally because it meant that nobody else was going to be able to see it. But then it did. It showed itself to, they allowed somebody else to see it. And I was practically hooped and hollered when that person came to me. And I will never reveal who that is. So, oh, Jesus. Oh, that's painful. Sorry, folks. Sorry for the whistle. Anyway, evidence of a past life. Evidence of a past life can be anything from, for example, same with me, evidence of a past life, for example, I can't have anything around my neck. Well, in a past life, I was hung. In this lifetime, I hate turtlenecks. I've tried for years to wear a turtleneck, or hell, even when I was skinnier, wear a choker necklace. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it because in a past lifetime, I was hung. People have different issues. There's a woman that I know to this day has a hard time driving because of the fact that in a past life, she was in very specific kind of horse and buggy accident. Well, actually, it wasn't just one lifetime. She had a couple of them. Thank you, Eason. Essen? I'm not talking evidence. I'm talking different things. They're indicative would be the word instead of evidence. It's indicative of. Michelle, I don't give two shits if you're looking for evidence. You're not going to find what you're after. If you're only after... See, this is what I get so pissed off about and so fed up about. Hello, Meryl Bond. Hello. Everybody expects evidence. In an ET abduction, you'll be damn fucking lucky to find it. Medical pregnancies that disappear, that's evidence. Having devices, ET devices removed, which is stupid in my opinion, because all they're going to do is put it back in. They're going to put the newer version back in, which means the newer version means that you're not going to find it. You may find it, but it will move on you. There's documented evidences of that. That happens. That's on video. It's not shown very often, but it's there. The black triangle UFOs are reptilians and military because they reverse engineer. Okay, here's what I know about that. Not all black triangles are, well, in the first place, they're not reptilian. They're typically flown by U.S. military. But hello, Lillian. But you're also dealing with, there are certain ETs that will use triangular ships as well. So no, I would tend to disagree with they're all reptilian. No. But there are many unidentified aerial phenomenon UAPs that I would classify as UAPs, because to me UAP means military constructed or U.S. or global government made, part of the aerospace industry, industrial complex bullshit, routine, and it has become routine. No. Michelle, if you're going to start pulling that bullshit, get the fuck off my page, because I'm not putting up with that. Do you believe the tooth fairy is real? In other words, am I crazy? Fuck you. Because I'm not putting up with it. I'm not putting up with that crap. I don't give a shit who it's from. I don't care if it's from somebody really fucking famous or if you're an adult down the block. I don't care. Sire, laugh out loud. Christianity is super fake. Can be. I have a good imagination. Then get off my page. If you can't stand what's being talked about, then get off my page. If you're going to be a troll, get off my page. Anyway, yeah, there are a lot of different things that are evidence. People winding up with scoop marks, chunks of their skin being removed, and they have never had anything in those areas. They didn't have a polio shot when they were a kid, or they didn't have a vaccination going into another country from, like, say, the 1970s. Anything like that. So basically, okay, let's see here. I've had enough of that shit. I'm not putting up with crap. I will not. I'm tired of it. I get enough of that crap elsewhere. I don't need it on my channel. Thank you so very fucking much. That's one of the reasons why it pisses me off. When you get gaslit or you receive the kind of shit that this person is doing on a regular basis, it gets real old real fast, and you have zero tolerance or zero patience for it. So there are plenty of evidences. Doesn't matter. It's actually, there's so much AI crap out there now. It's not going to matter if you've got a real picture of an ET. It's not going to matter. So in this day and age, people are just going to call it AI anyway. Look at the very real Sasquatch pictures that have been coming out. A lot of people have been posting very good pictures, and it's all being classified as AI. Hell, even fucking yeah, okay, this is the other one. That's the other one. Will not put up with that either. They came into my chat last time. Royal Britannica Military Academy. I'm not putting up with you and your shit tonight. Or this morning, whatever. Since we're nearing 7 a.m. Anyway, there's so many different things that is evidence. But so much AI shit that's out there now that even if we have real pictures, people aren't going to believe it. Which is why, if you are an ET abductee, find other ET abductees, come together. I swear to God, if you put that song into my head again, I'm going to smack you. I do not like that song. You know why I don't like that song. So, you know, sorry, I got other side trying to, they're doing a smart-ass remark via a song, and I'm like, no, you don't, I'm not pulling that tonight with me. Anyway, there's so many different things that are evidence, whether it's medical, whether it's physical, in the sense of, for example, skin sample that, you know, it literally looked like my skin was peeled. Hot Studios. Hello, Hot Studios. Do you think it's possible for ETs to breed with animals? Yes, I do. Well, no, not breed. No. Create, yes. Hybrids, yes. Mate with, no. We have all these half-bred foxes in my area that have thumbs. Actual thumbs? No, okay, here's the other thing that I know. Are you sure you don't have a, I want to call it a medical facility. It's an animal something facility. I can't think of what it's called. It's where they do, oh crap. It's a science building where they, do things with animals. Those are the kinds of things that are already out, and why some people are saying, oh, that looks like a skinwalker or things like that. It's because they've been... You got the Dr. Mangala thing going on with animals, so that's taking place. Yeah, that's not... caught them on trail cam opening a 12-pack of soda pop. Yeah, they have one of those facilities near us. They had a bunch of monkeys escape there last year that made the news. Oh, yeah, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. So humans are doing a lot of that, which really sucks. They're working on some wicked stuff. Xena, why is it that ETs usually come out at night, always hiding in the dark? Because it's easier to cloak their ships. That's from personal experience. I don't know if that's really the reason why. But from personal experience, I'm playing the for... Oh, yeah, we're not going there. Why is it ETs usually come out at night? Okay, so it's... Seriously, it's a lot easier to cloak their ship against the night sky so that when we look up, we think we're seeing the night sky. I literally saw a ship do this right in front of my eyes, right above my own head. August of 2019. Freaked me the fuck out. Literally, I saw this ship coming over. It hovered. It did this kind of back and forth thing. And I was like, hey, you gotta... And just as I'm pointing back and saying, you gotta take a look at this, the guy, the science guy, who was not 6 feet from me, I mean, we're talking like science guy, okay, with a telescope looking up that away. And I'm like, you gotta take a look at this, Dave. And he's like, yeah, it's the night sky. You're looking... And by that point, they had literally cloaked and put like a mirror, reflective mirror, from the night sky down onto the underneath of the carriage of their ship. I was so fucking pissed off. Oh, and you're back. Okay, let's see. Get rid of you. Choose your agent. Okay. So it got really rather interesting, and of course I couldn't be abducted because that's a whole nother story. Because I had Sasquatch who were not allowing me, my feet, to leave this planet, and they figured out how to make that happen. I didn't leave the frickin' planet. I didn't go anywhere, so they came to me. They put me, that following morning, they put me in a fucking bubble. An energy, it's literally where they stopped time inside of the bubble. Pissed me off when I knew what they were doing. I was so goddamn pissed at them. And that was when they drilled into my left knee. And I'm like, you couldn't bother, you can bother to make the sound of the effing mosquitoes, but you can't bother to stop the pain that you're causing in my left knee. Are you fucking kidding? Oh, it's all imaginary, Nikki. You're standing here telling me it's all imaginary, and yet you're doing... Fuck you. I was so pissed off. I was like, you get me out of this thing. I'm going to smack the shit out of you. I was pissed. And I got one ET standing here, one standing here, and one at my knee, drilling into my knee. I was stationary. I was like, you bastards. So, yeah, I was not a happy camper. I literally could not move, and everybody else was walking around me. I couldn't move anything but my eyeballs. I was not okay. I was pretty pissed off at them for that. So, yeah, that's... No, we're not going to remove that too. Okay, so... why do they hide in the dark? It's not about hiding in, well, yeah, part of it is. But you also have to realize ETs, when they're flying their ships and they're doing the hybridization program, they're on a schedule. So they pick up as many women and men that are in one specific hybridization program at one time, and then they'll pick up the others in a different hybridization program at another time. It's all seasonal. Why did they drill into your knee? I still haven't found that out. They've done a lot of work on my left knee, and I don't know what all they've done. All I know is they drilled into the bone in my left knee. It hurt for days afterwards. I was so fucking pissed off at them. And they, on the left side of my knee, and they did something on the right side but farther down, and that was months later. Excuse me. So yeah, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't nice. I hurt for a very long time after that. I know that they've worked on blood vessels on that knee. No, not on that knee, on that leg. I also know that they've done certain blood vessels on my right leg, but I don't have any memory of it. I have the physical, how do you call it? It's like the physical sensation. So I have, okay, when you get abducted, you need to know that you've got muscle memory. Okay, just because you're consciously out of it, you're not alert and awake. This truth is stranger than fiction, ST. Yes, it is. I know who you are. Hello. Recognize the picture. Anyway, it is stranger than fiction. It really is, because it's an issue. I don't know what all they're doing. I don't know why they're doing it to me. I would like to know. I get why the hybridization program, but the other stuff, I don't know why. It makes me question, and that's why I call this a process, folks, because when you're going through it, you're trying to figure every little piece of shit out. Document, journal, write in a journal. If you don't physically write, then do it on your device, whatever device you're on. Make sure that you're documenting stuff. If it weren't for the fact that I was not... Let's try this again. If I were not documenting what had been taking place with me, I would not have made the realization and put it together that I was being abducted during a season. There is a season for certain kinds of abductions. Okay? That is not widely talked about. Think about that. Why is that? Well, also, why do they circle one specific area? because they're trying to get everybody up. Everybody onto that ship that they are abducting and working on. You can have an apartment complex with the letters A through O. And say you've got, oh God, I gotta think about this a second. Say you've got 16 apartments in one building. How many out of the letters A through O, out of that apartment complex alone, how many abductees do you think are actually in that apartment complex? You might be surprised. Okay? So they can hover for as long as they need to get the ones that they're abducting. And they do it usually in groups of 2, sometimes in groups of 4, depending upon, like for me, they'll do it in groups of 4 if I get real angry, because I get to be a real handful physically. I get really pissy and bitchy and nasty about it because, hello, you're fucking abducting me. I'm not okay with some of that. There's some of it I'm okay with, like getting to see my kids. There are certain times that you do get to see your kids on board ship because, hello, they ended up going into the sciences because that's what they wanted to do. Well, others go on and do other things. So, just gets real kind of interesting. Yeah, mine has been messed up since 2008. So, is what it is. And have I asked them to fix it? No. Hell, I didn't even ask. I had human carpal tunnel surgery on this wrist and ET carpal tunnel surgery on this wrist. I never asked them to do this. I never consciously, that I'm aware of, never asked them to do this wrist. But they did it because they knew that I needed my I needed my hands for typing and doing other things. So yeah, they did my throat and my eustachian tube, and they opened it up. They essentially did a sleep apnea surgery on me. Why did they do that? To keep me alive. Why? Because I'm still part of their hybridization program. So yeah, matter of fact, you can actually, and because I've got a soul contract with them about the hybridization program, about one hybridization program, and you can have soul contracts. Not all not all people that are in the hybridization program have soul contracts, but according to what I know, many do. Now, here's something else. They're keeping me alive because I'm allowing them to use my body for making babies. Well, one of my last agreements was we're going to change this because you're getting something out of this all the time. I'm going to get something out of this now. And this is where you're going to come and help me. And they have, on a number of things. And I'm very appreciative of that. Have I asked about my back and my low back and those kind of problems? No, I haven't. Although I have asked for something that I don't know if they'll actually do, because it's cosmetic surgery for us. But for them, it's considered something very different. So we'll see if anything changes. So we'll see. Anyway, if I end up looking very different, well, it won't be because of me. It'll be because of What you go for? Yeah, I'm not going to say that publicly. But we'll see if they respond with it, with anything in the coming months or even, hell, even the coming years. But yeah, you can change your contract. If you have an ET, if you are an ET abductee, hi, I'm from Palestine, and you, I'm from Washington State in the U.S. Is it your private playground? No, it's not my private playground. So, yeah, I mean, if you have a sole contract because you're in one of the hybridization programs, yeah, you can tell them, I want to change my sole contract with you guys and let's have a conversation. But be prepared, because a lot of these specific kinds of ET, they're very legalistic. So it's very, very much talking, it's like talking to an attorney all the time. Everything is taken literally. You got to be very careful in how you phrase things. Free UFO? Free? Free UFO. Well, government probably doesn't say that they're free UFO. They take great effort in reverse engineering things. So, look, what I was talking about earlier, very early on, is that real ET ships, they're not made of normal metal, okay? They are a living, conscious metal that is alive. Human ET built ship is going to be metal. You have to understand that. If it's not moving metal, if it's not changing shape automatically on its own, for example, I've seen children, I've seen infants jump from somebody's arms onto a wall that was just a wall, and that wall turned into not arms and legs, but like branches, like tree branches. I've seen a regular wall turn into a climbing wall for another kid who went running and jumping, and I'm like, oh my god, what did I just see? And I've seen a ship where the floor is just a regular floor, and one of the kids is thinking, I want to go run up this, I want to run upstairs, and the ship literally creates a stair with a landing and a set of stairs coming up, and then a railing coming around. So yeah, it happens. Where these ships are very, very different. A human, military, and ship it's going to be very different in comparison to a real ET ship. Hello. Hi. Bobbin? How you doing? Anyway, I'm at 3 hours and 3 minutes, so I didn't quite expect to be on here quite this long, but we did originally have some really good questions about ETs and being an ET abductee, and I appreciate that. I don't appreciate the troll factor of different things, so and having to block 3 or 4 people out. Anyway, GNG, okay, hello. So if you have questions, well, we're talking about ETs and ET abductions. We're talking paranormal, and my personal experiences with them, and if you have questions. And if you don't, off you go. Or if you want to sit around and listen in, that's fine too. As I usually say, welcome to Restore Belief. What's in sovereignty? Yeah, there is none when you're ET abducted. There's just, it ain't there. Okay, that's better. Anyway, I'm not even going to answer that question. Go look it up on Google. Seriously. And I'm starting to lose my voice. Yeah, so I did 3 hours here, and I did 3 hours on a show that, and that's posted in the description box. So if you see the description box, scroll down. That's another show I was on. It'll take you to a YouTube channel. Anyway, 9 people at this second watching. If you have a question, please put it in the chat and I will answer it. If not, it's time to go. And from the looks of it, like it's time to go. All right. On that note, take very good care, everybody. It's 3 hours and 6 minutes in, so, and it is 7:18 a.m. Pacific time. Anyway, no, I don't do a gaming stream. But thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Anyhow, on that note, take very good care, everybody. Oh, and there's a red light over here behind me, so if you see my hair going pink, that's why. Anyhow, if you have any questions about ETs or ET abductions or what it's like, or if you need to contact me in any way, the information is in the description box. And I am found here. I'm also found on Facebook. I'm here on YouTube, but I'm also on Facebook. I believe I've got a Rumble account under the same name, so if you need to, that's where you can find me. But I don't do anything on Rumble right now. Right now, it's mostly, or it's almost all is YouTube or Facebook. On that note, hello to the 10 questions regarding ETs. Yes? Bevan, ETs, can you please talk more about this? I bet it Rumble when she... Hey, hello, Dubs. ETs, can you ask me questions, Bavin, and I will answer what I can, okay? You gotta ask me questions, though, because I've done a great deal of talking about this tonight, and if you have ETs or extraterrestrials, that's what I'm specifically talking about this morning, or tonight, depending upon what time you're watching this. What is it? It's an extraterrestrial, also known as an alien, or an off-worlder. How's that for an answer? An extraterrestrial is a living, breathing being from a different planet. Like a UFO. Yes, like a UFO. Only it's the beings, the people that are driving it. Mila Stoner, how do you know if it's an ET or a demon? Well, let's see. An ET will stand right in front of you, but will probably be phase shifted, so you won't be able to see him or her. It's most likely an abduction. Well, I can't say that. Mine are very specific, and I know other people who are abducted by other ETs. A demon is a very different ballgame. A demon has a tendency to possess a human, and they go in very specifically, and it gets very methodical, yet very... They go after the person mentally, really hardcore mentally, before they go after the soul. Until the human relents and the human gives up, and yeah, then you're dealing with possession. So there's pre-forms of possession. I don't remember what the official titles are called right now. It's been too long since I've done that. Since I've delved into that and all of that. I used to have all that information. The team I'm with they're much better at it than I am regarding it, and even though I deal with it on an occasion. Do you know about Proxima Centauri systems 4 light years away from here? No, I do not. But I know people that might. So anyway, yes, I was abducted by an ET. I'm an ET abductee from birth. But my first memories are from age 4 years old. I'm 57 years old now. And I've had a great deal of experiences. I'm part of one of the ET hybridization programs. And I'm retired SSP as well, which is a whole another ballgame altogether. Were any family members also abducted? Yes, my mother. My mother and I were abducted right off of southbound I-5 in Southern Oregon while the van was moving. Yeah, that's a different ballgame altogether. But yeah, you might want to go back and re-listen to, and I show images that I created via AI in order to depict what not only my hybrid kids look like, but also certain ET abductions. So if you're interested, you might want to, yes, it can occur in families. Mine is genetic, but not everybody's is genetic. Some people get abducted once, others 5, 6, 7 times, and that's it. Others it'll be their lifetime. Did they research on you? All they have to do is have your genetic makeup, hun. That's it. That's all they need. Tiny little skin sample. I mean, milestone are hybrid kids, meaning the ET have them now. Yes, they are human, half extraterrestrial. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I was just made aware of something that's just rather stunned me. And I can't, yeah, wow, okay. Meaning that, how can I abduct it? Hello, Stephen. What kind of ET? I know there's a lot. Want to meet ETs? How can I? There's so many different options on that. Extraterrestrials. Start going outside at night. Start putting forth. It's all about authenticity, and from the heart. And if you do it just to be, it has to come from your heart. It has to come that it's an authenticity issue. So if you're not being authentic about it and you're doing it as a bullshit thing, they're not going to come to you. The nice ones, they're not going to come to you. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. What kind of ET? I know there's a lot. Well, the kind that I get, the ones that do the physical part of the abduction are different than the ones that are on board the ship that do the genetic splicing and dicing, or the impregnation, or the different medical things. So the Arcturians are who are on board ship. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, I just had a notification. Anyway, so, but the ones that do the actual physical abduction, they're 7-foot tall whites. That's what I call them because they are in the shape of a gray. They're really tall, really skinny. Sometimes they have 3 fingers, sometimes they've got 4. Depends on which group. What else? I know others who get abducted by mantis type looking beings, ETs. I know others that get abducted by ETs that look very human but have blonde hair or black hair. Straight blonde hair, straight black hair. No, I can't. That's a different ballgame. That's if they want to meet people and they like blonde white women with U.S. citizenship. No, that has nothing to do with it. So anyway, there's a lot in ET abductions, and if you want to know more, hit me up, let's talk about it, or subscribe. And hello, I'm Landon. Okay, hi Landon. So, or hit subscribe and follow what I talk about, because I talk about a lot of different subjects regarding all of this, and some people have a hard time with it. Sometimes you get trolls, sometimes you get people who become real assholes about things. And that one woman, Michelle, she treaded on my last nerve on that subject matter, and I was like, that's it, you're out of here. I'm not putting up with this bullshit. You want evidence. Everybody wants evidence. Evidence comes at great cost. It doesn't mean shit one to you, but to the ET abductee, evidence means everything. And when you want evidence so badly and you can't fucking prove it, you can't, other than the fact that, oh, you've had an ET you've had a pregnancy and the pregnancy disappeared, or you have an x-ray of a surgery you've never had. You have never medically had, and yet your bones are showing that you have, or there's some kind of mark on you to show that you have. Those are things that are in question. That's evidence. Or you've got some kind of implanted device in the body that needs to come out, and they managed to get it out. Now the new ones are more difficult to pull out. That's fine. You want to meet them. I can't introduce anybody. I'm an abductee. I'm having contact. There's different languages in ufology. Contactee versus abductee means, see, I'm an abductee. I'm an abductee, a contactee, and an experiencer. I've had contactee experience, which is good experience. I've had abductee, which is not so good experience. And I'm an experiencer of all of it. And wow, there's a lot of it. So you can want to meet them all you want, but unless you start putting in the effort for and I'm talking like CE5, but you've got to, don't ask me what, look it up. Go to Google, go to something like something like Google and look it up on your own, what CE5 is. The letter C, the letter E, and the number 5. And if you type that in, you'll find it. But you should never have to pay for it. Especially no $2,500. That's bullshit. Or $1,200. That's also bullshit. But anyway, my throat's getting, I've been talking too long. Yes, C, E. Okay, hang on a minute. There you go. Hello, Baked Baker. Anyway, so regarding ATs, yeah, you've got to put in the effort. It's got to come from the heart, and you need to be authentic in it, and it takes time. It's not something that typically can be done in one night, especially if you're doing it on your own. So, anyhow, that's it. That's we're 3:21. I'm done. I'm long past done. I need a break, and I've got a major day today, so I need to find out some information from family because I've got responsibilities now. So, okay, I was just double checking different things, and I'm seeing different things called up. Wait a minute. Anyhow, I'm trying to think of anything else I can think of off the top of my head regarding ETs, not so much the paranormal. I dealt with a lot of paranormal last night, and some not so paranormal. Let's see. Abducted off of I-5, southbound Southern Oregon, 1975. 1972 was when I first remember. That can't be right. 69, 70, 71. Yeah, 72. Jesus. 1972 was ET abduction when I was 4 years old. You know, all of that kind of stuff. So this is, you know, first time pregnant, hybrid pregnant, ET hybrid pregnant, 13 years old, was 14 when they removed the infant. That was the start of the pregnancies. SSP was when I was 8, starting of that, and they weren't able to break me, so they put me into the pilot program, and that's it. And there we go. Anyway, 3 hours, 23 minutes. We are at 7:36 a.m. And on that note, that is it, folks. I will be live next week. I just don't know the days or the times right now. It might be Tuesday again before I do it, because I can't do Thursday night. So if it's not Tuesday, then it'll be Friday. It's just, it all depends on how I'm feeling. I've had problems with the back and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I'm usually live once a week. This week you got me twice. And I'm trying to think, any last remainders? Nope, that's it. Just come together, talk to each other, know that you're not alone if you're an AT abductee or if part of SSP or any of that. You're not alone. You have people who actually care about you and give a damn about you and your experiences, and we will not gaslight you. And most ET abductees that are real ET abductees, they'll know when you're lying, because information will not jive. There are certain things people can't make up, and then there are things that people try to, and it's a little on the ridiculous side. So anyway, on that note, I hope you all have a very good weekend, because today is Thursday. We're coming into a weekend time frame, and I hope you all have a very good weekend. Stay safe, and for those traveling, please stay safe. Take very good care of yourself. Please, if you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, and share button. This may help somebody else that you know that you may not know as an ET abductee. Think about that one. So, on that, adios, folks. Take very good care. Have a great weekend. Love and light. Bye, guys and gals. Bye, all.